In the last lesson, we designed our nav menu for desktop screens. So in this lesson, we're going to design the mobile version of the menu. Let's just get stuck in. So with the top level nav nestable element still selected, over to its settings, open the mobile menu settings. The first thing it says here is insert the toggle element after nav items to show hide your mobile menu. Let's have a look in the structure. Let's just close this down. Remember, nav items is the block that wraps all of the links. This is actually the wrapper for the mobile menu as well. And you can see here that the toggle element to open the mobile menu is indeed set after nav items. You don't want it inside. Bricks already put that there for us anyway when we added this nav nestable element in the first place, so that's fine. It just needs to be inside the main nav element but outside of this nav items wrapper. Okay, I'll click nav nestable again to carry on setting up the mobile menu. We can choose here to show this mobile menu at certain breakpoints. Now we only have a few links, so I'd say that we set this mobile menu to kick in at mobile landscape. You could of course set this to always, so that would mean there would always be a mobile menu toggle even on desktop. You'd never see the desktop menu at all. So if the mobile menu is going to kick in at mobile landscape, let's actually go into mobile landscape mode so we've got a better idea of what the page is going to look like. And I'll change this back to mobile landscape. We can style the actual toggle itself separately later on. I just want to focus on the menu for now. We're back over to the settings. I'm going to choose to keep the mobile menu open while we're styling it, just so that we can actually see what we've got to play with. Well, my first job here is going to be to change the background color to our dark BG. And with that set, you can now see that the default mobile menu builder now opens up completely full screen, which is much nicer than the slide in from the side that we used to have on the old nav menu element. However, you can change the width and height if you like. So let's say with height, let's set that to something like 500 pixels. That sets the height of the menu 500 pixels from the top of the screen, and then you can still see the rest of the page scrolling underneath. Anyway, I'm going to go full screen. I'm going to align the items in the center. If you didn't like them centered vertically, you could set them justify to the start of the menu instead. Now with the links set to justify content at the top, they're a little bit crushed up to the top, so we need a bit more space. It might be that you think, well, let's change the position of the items then from the top. Let's just quickly do that. So you can see that that actually moves the entire menu wrapper down, not just the menu items. But what I want is to add some padding inside this entire mobile menu wrapper. So let's just reset that. And remember, I've said a couple of times now that the entire wrapper for the mobile menu is the nav items block here that wraps all of the links. So we could add some top padding to that instead. So let's come over to Style, into Layout, and Padding, and something like 5 rem could be good. Okay, this is looking good. Let's test this drop down. And yeah, I like that. Back to nav nestable again, and back to the settings. I see here we've got a bit of a problem with the home icon. These have become crushed together for some reason. Let's find that link inside the nav. That's this one here, and into icon. And I wonder whether it's this gap control here. Let's try 1 rem. That's not working. Tell you what, let's save this page again. Let's give it a refresh. Okay, so the icon looks fine at desktop mode. Let's come into mobile landscape, edit nav nestable again, come into the mobile menu, select keep open while styling, and we still have the problem. I'm going to try one more time. So I'll select the home link again here, and then tweak that icon gap one more time before I throw my computer out the window. Nope, that's not working. I think this is a bug. So I'm going to carry on recording this lesson anyway, and after I've finished recording, I'm going to figure out what's going on, and I'll drop an update below the video. Anyway, while we're here, while this menu is open, let's attend to the close toggle as well. Now you can see here that this is the same hamburger toggle as the open toggle. What if I wanted something different, like an X icon instead? Okay, well, to edit this toggle icon, we need to come down into the structure and select it. It's this one, the close mobile toggle. Over to its settings, we can set an icon here. Now I think inside Font Awesome, let's search X. Yep, there's one here. And we could also change the size of that as well. And coming to think of it, I'm going to revert this back to the default toggle icon, just because it's the same toggle then to open and close the menu. but at least you know that you can change it if you want to. You can change the size of this toggle down in the bar settings. You see, the default hamburger toggle icon isn't actually an icon. It's generated with HTML and CSS. It's just a bit more lightweight for page speed performance. So to make this a little bit smaller, I'm going to change the scale to 0.8. The height of the bars and the border radius of the bars, meaning the rounded corners, they're fine. The default color's great as well. And if you're wondering what these toggle settings are, well, you'd use those if this toggle element that we're currently editing was toggling an off-canvas element on and off the screen. That is, if you were creating a completely custom mobile menu. But when you're just using the mobile menu that comes with the nav nestable element, then you don't need these. So to come back out of this, I'm going to have to click nav nestable again, back into mobile menu. Now let's scroll down. Yep, that's all looking good. Let's just also style the open toggle as well. Remember, I dropped the scale of this down to 0.8, so I'm going to do the same for the open toggle. Set that to 0.8 as well. Okay, now again, back to nav nestable. Turn off, keep open while styling. This all looks fine. Let's give it a test. Into preview, Command P. I'm also going to view this on the front end. And to simulate responsive mode, I can right click anywhere on the page, click inspect to go into the Google Chrome Inspector. Come over here on the left to the responsive viewer. I'll just close this down a little bit. And then to be able to shrink and expand this screen, we need to change the default device in this dropdown to just responsive instead. And then just drag the handle on the right. And here we have desktop mode and mobile landscape. Boom. Now we're into mobile mode. Let's test that out. And yeah, that is looking pretty good. And now your task is, of course, to build your own mobile menu, just following the steps I took in this lesson. And once that's done, let's move on to building our site-wide footer. Next.